became a career firefighter with the Howard County Department of Fire and Rescue Service, the chief of the medical division, or EMS, the unofficial historian of the Howard County Department of Fire and Rescue Service. Over 65,000 digital images and newspaper articles, magazine articles, etc. Episode 24-40, Significant Aviation Incidents in Howard County. This will be part 2 of 3. As a sidebar, if you're aware of any other significant aviation incidents in Howard County, please let me know so I can document those also. The 2 incidents that I'll be talking about today are marked by circle as number 1, and that occurred on December 5th, 1977, on the grounds of the Waterloo Middle School, in which a single-engine plane crashed onto the property, killing 2 of its occupants. The other incident that I'll be talking about is marked as number 3. This occurred on December 12th, 1992 at Route 100 and Route 100 Industrial Park, in which a small cargo plane crashed, killing its sole occupant. The plane crash at the Waterloo Middle School apparently was a student pilot and pilot from the Naval Academy, and were killed when their light plane crashed, apparently in bad weather. The 2 were identified as individuals that were part of the school system, Naval Academy, that is. The narrative here says police said it was windy, sleeting, and that the cloud cover was only about 600 feet at the time of the crash. The wreckage was found in heavily wooded area on the grounds of the Waterloo Middle School about 11:30 in the morning. The wooded area is about 150 yards from Waterloo Road in that particular area. This is a similar plane that the 2 were in and were flying at the time of the tragic accident. This is not the plane, but a similar plane that they were flying at the time. The next incident occurred on December 12th, 1992, when a cargo plane, small cargo plane, crashed. Bad weather was in the area at that particular time. Of all the incidents that I'll be talking about, the 5 incidents or 6 incidents that I'll be talking about, aviation accidents, this is the only one that I actually responded to on that particular day. The weather was extremely bad. A cold front was coming through, and when this accident occurred, the newspaper article was just saying that the weather was wet, windy weather that may have contributed to the accident. More about the details of the incident will be following. This is an image of the type of plane. It's not the plane, but the type of plane that was being flown from Ohio to BWI, delivering parts for an automobile. This just goes on to talk about the crash itself. This is just an article, partial article about the incident that took the life of the pilot. This is another complete article about the incident that occurred when the plane crashed, which was a little unusual, but when the plane crashed, it came down in a flat spin, meaning there's almost no vertical momentum or movement. When it came down, it just came down and basically sat just as you see it in the picture here. So the entire plane was just in one spot. Most plane accidents, debris is spread over a large area. And this one particular incident, because of probably a downdraft and other entities, when it came down in a flat spin and just sat right there as we see it. This is just the NTSB investigation and just giving you some of the particulars about that incident. They were indicating that it was a missed approach that involved this incident. Phase of operations, a missed approach, inadequate. The security of the cargo was inadequate by the pilot and command. Aircraft weight and balance were improper. Again, that was laid to the pilot. There were gusts, wind, weather conditions, as it states here, was turbulent. Cargo and baggage was not secured, and the tie down inadequate for the pilot and command. Missed approach. Findings, it was a stall or mush, whatever mush is. I'm sure a couple of my aviation fans will be able to describe what that is. And the occurrence, in-flight collision with terrain, and phase of operation, descent uncontrolled. Pilot was 33 years of age, and whatever else is on this particular image from the NTSB investigation. Just more information provided by the National Transportation Safety Board you can take a look at if you desire. The accident they're saying here happened about 4 nautical miles from BWI Airport. Visibility supposedly at the time was 3 miles. The weather indicating that it was turbulent. The weather at the time of the incident was 6 degrees Celsius, although I will tell you that by the time the incident was over with, because I was there for about 5 hours, by the time I was wrapping up, there had been a light rain, mist, etc. I was actually having icicles dripping off of my helmet by the time I left the scene, so it may have been 6 degrees when the accident incident occurred, but it dropped below freezing, as attested to the fact that I had icicles on my helmet when I left. The next image, and it's just going into some detail, you may want to put the podcast on pause to go ahead and read what they're saying here. The plane, as it was approaching BWI Airport, the pilot was told to make a missed approach due to inadequate separation between himself and another aircraft. A witness, as soon as that request was made by the air traffic control to do a missed approach procedure, the radar contact was lost. One witness said the plane descended from a low cloud before it crashed, with one witness saying its wings were moving from side to side. There was evidence the plane had impacted in a flat attitude with little forward movement. Cargo straps were found loose. A restraining board were found loose as if they had not been used. No pre-impact mechanical problems were noted. Wind at the time of the crash was about 21 miles per hour with gusts up to 32 miles an hour. Probable cause and findings of this particular incident: failure of the pilot to properly secure the cargo, which allowed a shift in the center of gravity during a missed approach maneuver and resulted in subsequent loss of aircraft and resulted in loss of control and flying speed. A factor related to the accident was failure of the pilot to assure the plane was loaded within its proper weight and balance limitations. This image just shows the aircraft on the ground, so stating it came in on a flat trajectory, so there's almost no forward movement. Narrowly missed a business and narrowly missed landing on Corporate Drive, entrance to the complex off of Route 1. Grainy picture of the aircraft itself. Please use your remaining heartbeats wisely and not waste a single precious one.